Welcome to the Abundance Code, the podcast where we delve into the secrets of unlocking abundance in mind, money, and meaning. I'm your host, Jason Stanley. I made some mistakes early on in my life, found myself homeless. A lot of times we have successes in our lives, and if we don't share how we got there, if we don't share what we did to get to where we're at, then we're really not pulling people along. Welcome to the Abundance Code, where we're going to discuss mind, money, and meaning. Success unshared is failure. It's a quote I stole from John Paul DeJoria, the founder of Paul Mitchell. I'm sure you're familiar with that line of shampoo and conditioner. And John Paul is a billionaire as well. But he's right. A lot of times we have successes in our lives, and if we don't share how we got there, if we don't share what we did to get to where we're at, then we're really not pulling people along. And at the end of the day, this life is about helping other people. And that is what this podcast is aimed at, is giving you some ideas. Maybe you get some ideas from the things that I've done in my life to get to where I'm at today. By no means am I the most successful person in the room, but I have had success, and I do see I do see the joy in what I have and have accomplished. And it's not material based, right? So there's a lot more to success than material possessions, and we'll talk about that as well. So we want to talk about different tools, different things that we've tried. So I do a lot of experimenting on myself. I experiment with different practices, different ways to start my day, different types of exercise routines, different ways to get myself into different mindsets. I challenge myself to kind of go against the status quo in order to keep growing. And so we're going to discuss those things in this podcast. I want to share those ideas that I have with you and that type of thing. I don't believe that there's a one-size-fits-all approach for everybody. So hopefully you can grab something out of this. Maybe you can connect it with something else. I listen to people all the time. I look at different, people that help with goal setting and all that kind of stuff. And I try to pick the pieces that I can use and bring them into my life and to help me achieve what is important to me. And that's what we want to do with you. So again, maybe you can get some stuff from this and learn some different ways of challenging yourself, making yourself grow and stretch, take yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit. So a little bit about myself. I've spent a good majority of my working career in the financial world. I've gotten to see a lot of people who have achieved success on a financial level. I've seen what financial success has brought people, but I also get to see people who are what I consider truly successful. And what I mean by that is they have a meaning to their life. They're successful in their relationships. They're successful in their families and that kind of stuff. And they're also successful in their finances. So I think that success is really a multifaceted term. And we really want to be well-rounded people. It's easy to find success in one thing and strive for that and ultimately have failure in every other area of our lives, whether it's our health, whether it's our mindsets and stuff like that. And I think that's one of the reasons that we see so many people that, achieve financial success, but yet struggle with depression and struggle with relationships. And, they're what I call serial divorce people. They go through these relationships like candy. So we want to talk about those different things and look and see what makes people successful in all areas of their life, right? It doesn't mean you have to be wonderful at everything, right? Some things you're going to just struggle with. There's a lot that I struggle with, and a lot of things that I, have trouble making myself do just because of how my mind is wired. So again, I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all approach. I think there's a way for us to use our strengths and our weaknesses to our benefit, right? And it's not necessarily even about strengthening your weaknesses, in my opinion. So we'll take some different approaches. I'll tell you some different things that I've used that I believe that has helped me through this time period. Prior to the world of finance, I made some mistakes early on in my life, found myself homeless in downtown Chicago. From there, I started reading books and on money and finance and stuff, and suddenly I was hooked. It was something that made a lot of sense to me. And so we'll talk about those things. We'll talk about different financial strategies, theories, and stuff like that as well that I've seen that actually work, right? They're not just things that we want to put out there as a catchphrase and stuff like that. It's actual things that you can apply to your life. But, I realized that I was in a place where if I did not break some of the habits that I had, if I didn't break through some of the situations that I was putting myself in, I wouldn't be able to achieve what I wanted to achieve in life. And I knew even whenever I had made those mistakes, even when I found myself homeless, I knew where I wanted to go, right? I had just gotten off this path. And so, we'll talk about what I used and what I did. I also spent 7 years in the military. And that gave me a good platform by which to be able to develop disciplines and stuff that I knew that I needed to be successful in my life. So I've completed 2 combat tours in Iraq during that time. I've got 2 wonderful kids. And like I said, I live a great life now, phenomenal life. And a lot of what I'm doing today are things that I set out to do a long time ago. And it took a little while for it to come to fruition, whether it was a goal that I wrote down or an idea that I had. And so I want to share with you my story. And in sharing with you my story, I hope that you're able to get some value out of that you're able to find something that you can apply to your life that helps drive you to success. That's the goal of this. More than anything else is how do we help each other, right? And then what I'm going to encourage you to do as we go through this is if you learn something from it and it works for you, share it with somebody else, right? You don't even have to share this podcast. Share the information with somebody else so that it helps them along. Again, this world is really about helping each other, right? And the more successful that we all become, the better the world is going to be, right? The more peaceful it is and all those kinds of things. So I don't have any illusions that I'm going to share something with you that's groundbreaking or earth-shattering, right? Instead, we're going to talk about different strategies that I've applied, things that I know that work, right? And then how you might be able to apply those into your life. In the meantime, we'll look forward to taking this journey with you. And I hope you guys get something out of this and enjoy it. It's supposed to be fun. So we'll talk about some fun stuff and hopefully share some funny stories with you as well. And you can laugh at my expense on things that I've done. So in the meantime, continue to buck the status quo in order to grow. I'm Jason Stanley, and we'll see you next time.